guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I cannot wait to share with you 6 DIY romantic Dollar Tree decor ideas. These are going to be geared kind of towards a bridal idea, but you guys can use these ideas in your home on a daily basis. I love to use romantic decor. If you guys are new to my channel, I do tons of DIYs. I love everything heart, family, and home, and I definitely love adding a touch of florals and romance to my home. It's just who I am. So thank you guys for being here. Plug in those glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafting. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a really beautiful heart-shaped pillow. So I'm taking that Dollar Tree heart wreath form and a piece of linen fabric that I had left over from an old curtain and one of the last Trash to Treasure DIYs that I shared with you guys. What I'm doing is I'm just outlining this entire wreath form with a very light colored marker. I'm going to outline 2 pieces of this curtain and then cut them out with my fabric scissors. Once I have both of my fabric hearts cut out, I'm just going to begin to glue them together. So I'm using hot glue for this project. I'm just gluing around the side of the heart, and then I'm going to take the other piece of fabric and just kind of press it down. So I kind of press it down as I go in and around the fabric. This is such a great DIY to do. If you guys have leftover fabric or a fabric that you don't want to part with, you can make this really darling heart-shaped pillow. Now for me, I had this in mind to do kind of as a bridal pillow, but I'm also going to be using it in my living room in that little DIY basket that we did. So you're just going to continue to work in and around the heart shape until you get to the other side, and then you want to definitely leave a fairly large opening so you can stuff your heart with some fluff. I used some stuffing from an old pillow. You guys use whatever you have on hand that works well for you. Also be sure to turn your heart inside out. That way you have some nice clean edges. So now I'm just taking some of that leftover pillow fluff from another pillow that I don't care for that had some stains on it, but it was still good fluffing. So I'm just stuffing it into the heart. I made sure to get towards the ends of the heart first, and then I also kind of played with the cotton stuffing to make sure that it got in and around the entire heart. Now, I didn't overstuff it too much once I got to the end because I knew I needed to glue it together. So I just tucked the ends under and together. Be careful on this part, you don't want to burn yourself, but you're just going to very slowly begin to glue that last seam together. Again, you guys could sew this, but I love my hot glue gun. It works perfectly for me. So here's the heart pillow, just plain, if you like that more simplistic look. But I decided to take a Dollar Tree doily and cut it in half and add that to my pillow. I'm going for a really rustic farmhouse shabby chic vibe on this one. I think this would be a great thing to do too if you were doing a wedding and you wanted to do something borrowed, something new, something old, that kind of idea. You could use one of your grandma's linens or your mom's or just something like that. And then I'm taking another piece of the doily and I'm gluing it in and around the heart just to kind of give it some character. Again, this is totally up to you, but I added a couple more patches of the doily. Now I'm just making a shoelace bow, so I'm just tying a bow like I would tie on my shoes with that Dollar Tree white satin ribbon, and I'm going to hot glue it to the center of the pillow. Now I was going for a little bit more of a rustic vibe, so I decided to add a little bow too with some twine to the center as well. And then I'm just taking the twine, and here's the bridal idea, and I'm tying a ring on there. So if you were using this as a bride, you could tie both your rings on there and your little ring bearer would have the cutest ring bearer pillow, or it's a really nice memento, or just a great way to add some romantic touches to your beautiful home decor. You could also tie a little bow to the top and hang it. I have little hearts hanging in and around my home as well. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are just going to take some of those Dollar Tree ferns, and this is just a glass vase that I had chalk painted with you guys in another one of my DIYs, and I added some nautical rope to the top. So I'm taking some of those Dollar Tree ferns and adding them into the vase, and then I had these big, beautiful, fluffy roses left over from another project, and I decided to add a couple of these in. I believe I found these at Michael's or TJ Maxx, and I used a discount code with them. So I'm adding in some more of those beautiful little florals. These are some of those Dollar Tree florals that kind of trail in and around and down. Comment and let me know if you guys know what these are called. I was so excited to find these at the Dollar Tree. They're absolutely beautiful, and they really add some dramatic effect to any arrangement that you're working with. Now, look at how beautiful this is. I was looking on Pinterest to see kind of what the vibe of a rustic wedding would be, and they really like to use a lot of fluffy roses and greenery. I think it goes perfectly with this pillow and absolutely beautiful and perfect really for any display. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm taking some contact paper and I'm laying it over a Dollar Tree mirror, and then I'm putting the mirror back into the frame, but I'm putting it back in backwards because I want the flat part of the frame to show out. And then I'm taking some of those Dollar Tree popsicle sticks and I'm cutting them to fit the short end of this frame. So what I want to do is I want to create kind of a rustic like wooden frame for this. So I've got the Dollar Tree contact paper that looks like wood, and then I'm going to add in my popsicle sticks, but I want the popsicle sticks to kind of overlap on to the frame. So I'm going to glue them on one side, and so the way you want to glue them is glue them really close to the edge of the frame on the inside part. And of course I did cut them to fit, and I just used some wire cutters and then glue to the outside of it. So you'll just use the original frame to glue both of your popsicle sticks on. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But basically I'm just creating a larger frame to go around the smaller frame. What I want to do is give this kind of a wooden effect and then paint it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to both sides of this frame with my popsicle sticks, and you're going to want to get them really close together, and it's okay if there's a tiny gap in the center of both the popsicle sticks because we're going to paint over that. Again, you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Now, once I had the shorter sides done, I wanted to glue just one layer of popsicle sticks to the longer side of the frame because I want to create kind of, again, an overlap with the popsicle sticks so they cover up the little tabs on the inside of the frame. So I'm just gluing now, again, popsicle sticks the entire way on this long side, and so you're going to glue on the inside of the frame, and then you're going to put your popsicle stick on, and then you're going to glue on more towards the outside of the frame. So you're just gluing two layers side by side. I hope that this is making sense, you guys. I really love how this project came out, but describing it, hopefully you guys can just watch what I'm doing. You're going to do that to both sides. So here's a close-up of how it looks. That last set of popsicle sticks that we glued on overlaps the shorter side. And now we're just taking some brown paint. This is Apple Barrel Craft Paint, in the color Coffee Bean. This is just what I had on hand, but I think it looks really nice with this. And then of course I am going to do some layers because I want the popsicle sticks to kind of appear like they're weathered wood. So I'm just going in and around that first layer. You could also paint these first, but I didn't do that, so I'm painting them after the fact. Now I'm just adding in some of that Dollar Tree white craft paint, and I'm just barely dabbing it. I'm dabbing it into the paint and then onto this piece of tissue and then in and around the little frame. This is kind of what I call like a dry brush technique, where you dab your paint on and then you dry brush it on. And then I did add a little bit of black paint onto that and then a little bit more brown paint over it to kind of make it have this wood appearance. And then I'm just taking some of my homemade chalk paint and I'm painting on Welcome. Now, you guys, this was a bit difficult for me because the chalk paint was really thick. So I really recommend, if you guys have one of those paint pens, definitely go for that. But you guys know me, I try to use what I have on hand, and so this is what we're going with. So I'm just using my little Dollar Tree paintbrush to paint Welcome, and then I did end up going back over it with a second coat. I also decided to add some little kind of squiggly lines to bottom of it to give it a little bit of character. So I'm just using that same white chalk paint and drawing some little squiggles and then kind of like some little fake branch leaf type things. And here it is. I think it's so adorable. It was so inexpensive, you guys. And I think it looks really rustic and cute and perfect if you're wanting to welcome your guests. You can use this at your home. You could use it at your bridal table, wherever you need a really adorable little awesome DIY rustic style sign. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, you're going to need some Mod Podge, some Dollar Tree doilies, and a Dollar Tree charger, and some paint if you choose. So I'm just taking and I'm cutting the doilies out. This is the medium-sized doily. They come up in a large pack. And then I'm just Mod Podging the doily onto the plate. Now be very careful when you're doing this because the doilies are very delicate and they'll pull apart. But I am going for a rustic look with this DIY, so it wasn't the end of the world if I got a little bit of them snagged or whatnot. So I'm just adding the Mod Podge in and around and on top of the doily until it's very gluey. And then I'm going to let that dry. Now I did find out that I probably should have added about 2 layers of Mod Podge. So if you want it to stay and last really well, definitely use 2 layers of Mod Podge. So let one dry in between. Now I'm just adding in some of that brown and black craft paint kind of mixed together, and then I'm going in and around the edges of this plate. What I wanted it to look like was just like this really cool antique kind of rustic charger. Again, I definitely would add Mod Podge at the end too to seal it in. I didn't do that when I was finished, and so a little bit of my paint kind of chipped off, which isn't the end of the world. It's a rustic kind of cool plate. So I'm just adding in some more white paint in and around the base. And now I'm using one of those Dollar Tree DIYs that we made a while back to create this little cake stand with some plates, the candlestick, and then I'm adding some moss in and around the base and the top and my charger underneath. I really love this. I think it looks so perfect. And so here is kind of how I set the scene. I did 2 of those chargers. Each one was a little bit different. I didn't want them to match because, again, I wanted it to be kind of rustic. So I'm adding in the chargers, and now I'm adding a cake plate on top of the other charger. And then I'm going to add that really darling little welcome sign. And I'm just sharing with you guys kind of how you could set up a welcome table at a bridal table, or just wherever you're wanting to set a really sweet, fancy kind of table. And then I'm adding that little heart in, and then a little place card and some really cute cherubs nestled down in the greenery. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create a rustic style place card. So I'm taking some of those Dollar Tree Jenga blocks. These are the wooden color left over from another DIY that I did where I used only the light colored Jenga blocks. And I believe that the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks are actually called the Wooden Tower Game. So if you guys go to look for it in the kids section, I think it's called the Wooden Tower Game. You guys comment and let me know if it's called something else. So I just glued all the little blocks together. I used 4 of them, and then I'm gluing this one to the back so it will stand up. And then just kind of, here's how it's going to look. Now, I would recommend using a paint pen probably on this or some little adhesive letters, but I had a Sharpie on hand, and so I'm just drawing on here Josh and Olivia. This is great if you guys are hosting a dinner that you want to put place cards at, and you could also put your date on there of your wedding. That would make a nice little thing for guests to take home. And then I'm going to hot glue one of those cute little white Dollar Tree flowers onto this just to give it that little extra bit of extra. You guys know I really love to get a little extra. Here it is nestled in with the greenery and the darling little cherubs. I think it's so rustic chic. Definitely farmhouse, cutesy, shabby chic, whatever style you guys want to go for, tweak it to make it your own for sure. And here it is all together. I am definitely in love with this, you guys. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to use one of my Bath & Body Works candle lids and some more of that Dollar Tree contact paper. I'm just going to trace around the Bath & Body Works candle lid, and what I want to do is cut this out and then adhere this to the top part of the little candle thing to make a candle stand. So I see these everywhere in rustic wedding displays, and I thought, wow, this is a great way to recycle what you already have and make it into just a little spot where you can set whatever you please. I thought a candle looked perfect here, but again, you guys could put a place card holder here, you could put a glass of wine, whatever floats your boat. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, perfect, and very rustic chic for that perfect table setting that you're going for. So let's set the table for this rustic chic event. I'm using one of those burlapfabric.com burlap little round placemats, and then I'm adding in my rustic Dollar Tree chargers that we DIY'd, that cute little cake stand with Mr. Romantic and I's picture, our wedding picture. I used the black and white one because I thought that would be perfect. I added those cherubs to the base of the moss, and now we're adding in that darling little welcome sign, our cute little heart pillow. I'm putting a little stand behind it just so it will stand up. This beautiful floral arrangement off to the left. You could also add a guest book in front of all of this, and then that cute little place card that we created. And I am really in love with this. And then, of course, last but not least, that final touch of romance, a beautiful candle. Loving this. So beautiful, so chic, so romantic, and just perfect for that special occasion. I hope you guys are loving this. Comment and let me know if you have any special events coming up. I have had several of you comment and let me know that you're getting ready for weddings well into the fall, and so I think these would also be perfect around that season too. So I do have something to share with you all. I have been using this Awake essential oils that I get off the Grove Collaborative website, and it's a really lovely citrus kind of lemony fragrance. I'm using that during the day, during the winter time, to really give myself a little bit of boost. It really helps my mood. And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm using my Mrs. Meyer's honeysuckle scent. This is the all-purpose spray. I do have a 5-piece coupon code below if you guys want to try this. It's a 5-piece free gift set if you guys do a $20 purchase. I love using these aromatherapy cleaners. It just really sets the tone for my day to get my counters cleared off and cleaned up before I start my crafting business, or afterwards, or even in between to kind of clean up any kind of messes. Something about yummy smelling cleaners. I'm a total nerd for this kind of stuff, you guys. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using this really wonderful women's multivitamin. So thank you all so much for joining me on this rustic farmhouse bridal DIY adventure.
You guys are so amazing. I love you so much. I love doing DIY projects, and I love hearing from you guys what you're up to, where you're from, what you guys have got going on. I know there's some really amazing crafters that have been posting over in my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page. If you guys want to join us over there, pop on over there. You guys can post photos of what you create there. You can also post them on Instagram and tag me. It is me. So thank you guys so much. You're truly a blessing to me. If you guys are new, I would love to have you join my crazy, fabulous crafting family here. Click that subscribe button, and the little bell will notify you guys every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much. It is a blessing and an honor to have you all here. I love you, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.